Welcome back to another Askari cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, off of the Ancient Illumination series as well as your Bonnie Chronicles. I am joined once again by Jocelyn Short.
Hey.
She is a concept artist and illustrator, creator of The Bearers. There will be a link in the description of this when we upload the audio to Spotify for podcasters to her website, as well as our next co host, JP Jackson.
Hey everybody.
He's another concept artist and illustrator, creator of Eve of Insurrection, Eve of Reclamation, has a new book out, Growing in the Garden, as well as he's the illustrator for the Ancient Illumination graphic novels, as well as the Bonnie Chronicles comics. Two volumes and two issues, so there will also be a link to his website in the description of this episode. Today, we are back at it talking X-Men 97, episodes 7 and 8. So if you have not watched at least that far, spoiler alert. Um, that's what we're doing. I think we have there 9 is released. I already watched it, but I think they have one more episode after that, 10, which they're splitting up the. I guess the finale is 3 parts.
Oh,
I thought
We've already
Wednesdays
seen one
was
part of it.
okay.
I
I
think
think episode 8 is the first part. It's
Oh, right.
okay.
Didn't notice that.
Okay. I was
yeah,
like, I thought
tolerance.
Wednesday was gonna be the last one.
Yeah, it's tolerance. I think it's titled "Tolerance is Extinction" Part One. So I
Mm.
think episodes 9 and 10 are parts 2 and 3 of the final uh, parts of the finale, basically.
Yes.
The episode 7 is titled "Bright Eyes," which coincidentally is, if you've watched the old X-Men cartoon, is what Rogue refers to Cable as when they first meet him and don't really understand him. And because in the old series, he doesn't really reveal who he is. And so it causes a lot of confusion with the X-Men. They think he's a villain and don't understand what his motivations are. So that's the reference that Bright Eyes is making. Also, I think it's kind of a side reference to Gambit as well, who has glowing eyes. Um,
R.I.P.
and that's pretty much where we start with Remy's funeral in this episode, and Nightcrawler, aka Kurt, giving the eulogy. we get
He's a pastor.
yeah, he's an ordained priest. Yeah, interesting. We get Cyclops, Beast, Morph, and I forget the other one, but the pallbearers that are carrying his casket as they lay him down. Um, uh, Jubilee doesn't seem to understand why Rogue isn't there, and she's kind of conspicuously gone because she's on a little rampage at the moment. Uh, Wolverine tries to explain to her that, hey, everybody grieves different. This is just how she's choosing to deal with it. Doesn't mean she might not be here physically, but emotionally and spiritually, she's dealing with the loss. Um, speaking of that, meanwhile, she's jumping into military bases out in the desert, and we get a cameo from General Thunderbolt Ross, who's talking big yang in there. Hey, because the soldiers are tripping. They're like, "Oh my God, what is we gonna do?" And my boy is like, "Hey, don't forget we're in a containment field that was built to withstand the Hulk." And then 2 seconds later,
Boom.
Rogue just smashes a canister or something down there, and
It was
opens it up
nothing.
and comes down, starts threatening folks. So I'm wondering, they're tying a lot of this into other properties. I'm wondering if we're going to get the Hulk, since we now know that Disney's given us at least a couple more seasons of this. So for now, they're just keeping it to light, mentions, and some like brief cameos. But I wonder if we're going to start getting to see them actually in the episodes later down the line. So I have Hulk, question mark. She's trying to track down Gyrick and Trask, um, which we're led to believe now are under the thumb of Sinister. Then we see the cleanup of Genosha and the mutants helping to triage the people that are injured and dead. And off camera, we were talking before, and Jordan mentioned this next thing we saw. Rogue leads her to another little underground encampment. She sees a World War II motorcycle outside. Ends up as Captain America. He throws the shield at her, and he's like, "Rogue, stand down." And he's like,
Okay.
please. And she calls him a top cop.
Yep.
They go down, I guess there's an underground facility which he ends up finding through some frequency with the radio to learn more information about what's going on. And then she asked if she found the location basically of where Gyrick is being held, and she's like, "Well, you gonna come with me?" And he's like, "My hands are tied." And he's like, "Oh, well, since your hands are tied, you won't be needing this." And she snatches the shield from him, goes up and like whips it out into a mountain. So I guess he can't follow her like right away, which is pretty
I gotta
funny.
go find this shit. I gotta go find my shield.
Yeah, you gotta go. You can't go nowhere without that
Oh,
shield.
Cap. It's weird. It's weird. Like, as a person who liked Cap in the films,
Mhm.
I really kind of liked that. Like, Rogue kind of like made fun of him being the top cop, and just like, he's still kind of He's still a reflection of like I guess just the military, America's military power, and just like those values and ideals. And I was like, oh, he's gonna play it safe. He's not gonna join you, Rogue.
Yeah,
He ain't
I
about
can't be
that.
seen with you right now.
Chris. Can't be out here just throwing shields for Genosha.
And she's like, who cares about optics? We are
Who
we
cares
are
about
dying. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Yeah,
I don't blame her for throwing the shield. Like, you suck. You suck. Why don't serve America right now? Serve us. Serve us.
Because America's up to something.
yeah. Ironic in this depiction because we see he toes the line. He basically Cap is towing the company line here in this show, but we see the total opposite in the MCU
Mm-hmm.
with basically Captain America: Civil War. When they split up, he takes the side of the enhanced people or the mutants that the government is trying to seek to control. But Rogue ends up finding Gyrick in some like lush Mexican spot where it's not really a jail. He's like in like this little country club with like armed guards. She quickly gets to him, and then when he won't give up the information voluntarily, she steals some of his life force and his memories, and we get a brief vision of Nimrod and Bastion through his eyes as she's stealing that, and then for whatever reason, it made her pass out. I didn't get that part of it, but why she passed out.
Yeah, that part didn't make sense either.
Yeah. And then Jean is back, seeing the aftermath of the attacks on Genosha, and she's also seeing things, kind of like past visions of how the attack happened from, like as if she was there with some of the people, the other mutants that were on Genosha. And then Sunspot, of course, comes out to his mom about being a mutant. Of course, she already knew he was a mutant. She's like, we done burned up 4 of our houses after you turned 16. We knew something was wrong with you, boy.
That's
What?
crazy. She's like,
The
there's
houses kept
no way
burning
our
down.
house just burns down 3 times in our lifetime. Like, boy, please.
Yeah. So mom's new, but she's like, for public appearances, because we're not trying to scare the shareholders, you need to keep that on the hush. We're not going to let everybody know quite right now that you're a mutant. While we trying to get this money. And so he feels a little disappointed in that. Then the X-Men somehow team up and find Trask. What was it? Was like a weird phone call they got at first, like a hotline phone call that let them know where to go.
I can't confirm or deny that if that's what
Yeah,
happened.
there was a weird
how they
like
pulled
phone
up
call they
on.
had with somebody who called them and told them basically where to go, and the way they would get in to the facility was that this vending machine is always
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. That guy told him about the Diet Coke is never out of order. Whatever. There's always.
but it's not Coke. It's the same drink, and I don't know if you remember the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie.
That's what it.
It's that same green
The
like
green
energy
drink.
drink
Oh, nice.
that they remember. There was like I think a drop of the Hulk's blood in there, and then
Yeah, I remember. That's
when Stan
fun.
Lee makes his cameo, he drinks it. He drinks that one bottle. But yeah, that's the stuff but the diet version is what they have. They're always they never run out of diet. So they hit the diet, and everybody's asleep in this facility. From I think Trask put some like knockout or sleeping gas to knock everybody out, and then they all bum rush in there. Rogue wants answers. He snatches up Trask if he's trying to explain what happened. He makes an Oppenheimer reference, like I have become death. And then the final confrontation, she snatches him up and then chucks him off the building. There was kind of a funny moment where everybody's looking like, "What the hell did you do?" And then Wolverine's like, "We all want you." Basically, we were all thinking it.
Yeah.
He's the only one that did it, and he retracts his claws. And then we find out Trask ain't dead. My boy just gets back up. I guess the something in his bloodstream release when he hit the ground, and he turns into a Prime Sentinel, which apparently is a thing that Bastion has been planning this all along. So after Rogue, drops him, they start fighting Prime Sentinel Trask, and he seems to be a lot to handle. And that's just one of them.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. But they were doing some cool stuff, like Gene and him, Cyclops jumping off the side of the building, throwing stuff. It was so well animated.
Yeah, they were getting down. Cable later on ends up saving Pops, aka Scott Summers with the EMP, so electromagnetic pulse. And we keep forgetting Cable's from the future. So I think he's been fighting these things in the future. So he has some weapons that are better suited to bat them. And that was the way he put out. Dean then realizes who Cable is when he comes in. And he realizes that through that like telekinetic link that he had with Madeline Pryor, he's like, "Get out of my mind. You're not her."
You're not my mom.
You're not my mom. Oh my gosh. So much hate for Jimmy.
Yeah.
It's like,
and Cable is he's kind of explaining things, but it's kind of obvious he doesn't know the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Like he thinks Sinister is working for someone worse, obviously, which he is. There's kind of a lot of action in this episode, but there's also a lot of explaining. Cable explaining the backstory of him, like going back and forth, and basically, like Sinister ain't the one you need to worry about. There's someone else pulling the strings here, much worse than him. And then we get a conversation between Bastion and Sinister, where he's basically like, all your mistakes and you messing up this whole time, you've been trying to mess these mutants up, and you're one of them old villains. And then Sinister has to kind of remind him, like, but you were one of those villains previously. Like, we now know that he's a mashup, isn't he? Like a mixing of Nimrod, and I forget what the other entity is called. But basically, Nimrod, the body gets destroyed, but he's also the part of the mind of Master Mold, whatever that is.
oh yeah, they kept mentioning that name.
Yeah, so he's like a mashup of Master Mold and Nimrod. This little virus thing got into the daddy. The daddy impregnated this lady, and Bastion was born, and this kind of mutant virus thing went into the baby and turned him into like a symbiotic sentinel.
Technopath. He's a
technopath. Like, yeah, he's a mashup of all of it. But technically, he's really a mutant himself, which is kind of ironic because he's trying to destroy all the mutants. We get the Magneto reveal. So he's still alive, but my boy is.
I feel like that was like a double. Yeah, the reveal. Yeah, it was a revealing.
Well, yeah, him. Yeah, strung up in his drawers.
Yeah, in the drawers. I'm like, come on. I'm like, yo, I saw this coming. I was like,
they knew what they were doing.
The eye candy.
They knew who was watching this show.
Exactly.
They said, this is for y'all. This is for the.
We got you. We got some eye candy.
They said, don't worry about it.
And I was laughing at Bastion giving him a shave too. He's like talking to him, giving him a shave, like, look, just go with it. Don't worry about nothing. Do as you're told, and everything gonna be all right. I got this whole thing planned. I'm like, wow, this is wild.
These people are crazy. They're so crazy for that. Cause like knowing who Magneto is and like what he's about, to be doing all that, to have him strung up like that, first of all.
That's traumatic. That's triggering.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I'm like, Magneto's not no bitch, and they treat him
He ain't gonna forgive me for this one, y'all.
yeah, I'm just like, y'all are really on one for this. So,
Y'all are doing the most.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. With the Prime Sentinels being revealed, and we're also seeing that little, I forget what it's called, that the virus that basically Sinister injected into Baby Nathan, or put him in that vat of stuff, is actually probably a backdoor mechanism. He's thinking like a fail safe in case. That's the ironic thing. I think he's trying to have a backup plan for Bastion in case Bastion is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this little virus that both of them have, but he has basically an inside track to stopping Bastion if needs be. But he's trying to make it seem like he's using Bastion to give him a supply of mutants to experiment on to find this perfect gene. What do y'all think about that?
say it again.
You know the little green stuff that he basically
He's planning something.
He's
I mean,
planning something.
Sinister's up to something for sure.
As much forethought as Bastion seems to have, remember, Sinister dumped Baby Nathan into this vat of green stuff to have that little mutant technovirus, basically. I think part of that is also what's inside Bastion. And remember, Cable, Nate goes into the future. So I think that might be a plan to control or at least take out Bastion if need be in the future when push comes to shove with them two, because they're kind of on the same side now, but at some point, I think Bastion may be turning on him too.
I think that's a cool theory. But I mean, it would make sense for that character to do that if he's trying to have these back plans. Because I mean, of course, I mean, thinking you bringing that up is just could foreshadow something that could happen with Cable in general. Just
And the
'cause he was one
technovirus
from
is technically how they've made the Prime Sentinels now out of the humans. You didn't catch that?
No, I did.
Okay.
I thought he was about to say.
No, go ahead. No, I didn't really think too much on that one. I wasn't concerned with that one. But go ahead, Johnson.
No, I mean, I don't have anything necessarily to say, but I mean, the reveal of this whole plan was wild. I mean, honestly, the reveal of the whole plan, I don't know if y'all have played or finished like Mass Effect 3 or not.
I don't remember that one. No.
No.
Rod,
okay.
you? Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
okay. Go for it. Just go for it.
there's a certain ending that this reveal reminded me of elements of it. So I thought that was interesting. I think the whole plan is so wild, like to create this merge of like human and mutant and nanotech.
It's beautiful. I love it. I have nothing else to say because I love it. So I'm like,
it's very wild, but also I think it's wild because he's like, it's like asking the consent of no one. He just is like, this is like creating a whole other race that's beyond humanity. It's beyond mutant. It's like a separate third thing. And he's like, this is gonna be better. This is best. And I am God and I say so.
Yeah.
It's a perfect recipe for a villain.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. That's why I'm like, all right, there's nothing else to say here. We gotta stop him. I mean, it's that simple. For me, I was more intrigued by when Bastion was speaking with like the other villains.
I think that's in this next episode.
It's cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay,
we try to separate it.
We can roll into that. Episode 8 is Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1. Bishop, we here now, got separated from Cable. And that's why he's by himself and we don't see Bishop. But I was expecting Bishop is going to come back to a little team. After they've been separated. We hear that he basically kind of Cable raised himself in this apocalyptic. If they got separated, or maybe they didn't.
I don't know.
They need to show us, not tell us.
Yeah.
I saw someone talking about this online, and they were saying like, "Yo, what's the name? Bishop had one job.
Yeah.
He had one job. Like this is just like it's not looking good. Like why?
Yeah.
Why?
We send him back so you can protect him and help raise him, and hopefully find a cure for this techno-organic virus that he has.
Something about that feels racist. Also,
Talk about it. Let's get into it. Talk about it, Jocelyn. I want to know more. I want to hear your theory. Let's go.
Is Bishop the black?
He's the nanny.
He's the black dad who ran away.
Oh,
and didn't raise
he's a
his
deadbeat.
kid. Yeah,
well, I mean,
and to be fair, we don't know why.
Make Scott the deadbeat.
We don't know why he's not there. I'm not saying that this is what this is. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it feels like it. Why did they put it like this? Okay. Why did they make this decision to just have Bishop just dip, to just F right off?
They don't. No, he didn't. They said they got separated.
Some force.
Is it something because after he was carrying him as a baby, something separated them during the time travel? Is what they didn't say he like just dropped him off and was like, I'll be back. I'm going to get some cigarettes and I'll be right back, and just left him.
He didn't do that. We don't think he did that.
Yeah.
I hope that that's not where it leads. It better not be. Lord have mercy. I just.
Yeah, so we have Cable explains Bastion and how see, here comes up again. The techno-organic virus is basically the reason why he's able to control machines, and he's a technopath. I think in the comics it was nanites that were a big. Where this is the switch, and this is also a lot of this is taken from the comic book run with Bastion and the Zero Tolerance, and actually in the OZT that we see on the computer monitors where Rogue and Cap
and on the mercenaries.
Yeah, that's Zero Tolerance is what that was in reference to.
Oh.
Cable also explains that he's been trying to fix the timelines, but he keeps getting snatched back every time. This might be a kind of a reference to Doctor Strange in the What If series, that this is like some things are just a fixed point in time that has to happen. So no matter where Cable comes in to try and rectify the situation, some things he can't deter it. It's going to happen. Bastion doing some dirty fighting. In today's day and age, it would be like a release on social media, but here he releases the satellite clip of Charles being still alive with this. Right, and I think they're doing that to try and sway public opinion so that the humans, up to this point, may have had some sympathy because of the death of Charles, supposedly, and now this other tragedy in Genosha. He's trying to reverse some of that by showing that Charles is still alive. He got this bird alien he's about to marry up in space. And
well played, Bastion.
Yeah, we have a flash into Sunspot with his mom, and she's showing that she doesn't really care about what happens to the mutants, but let me donate a little bit of cash, and we'll just smooth that over. Don't even worry about it. And then we see that Jean can't heal Rogue's trauma. She's trying to heal her and then can't, find her way to do that. And Kurt, aka Nightcrawler, is trying to comfort her about that. But Jean is confused because she can feel basically the birth of Nathan and all the things that she didn't really experience because she's not his real mom. So she's kind of confused by that, but she still feels a kinship to him because of that lingering feeling. What do y'all think about the theory about Val Cooper actually being Mystique? in disguise.
Question: Who is? You said
Yeah.
Val Cooper?
Val Cooper is the blonde with the glasses that we see talking to Magneto as he's captured.
Oh, where is that?
She remember
Yeah,
she
what
she
theory is
survived.
I don't know. I never had a theory on that. I'm just going with
Everybody
it.
remember she hadn't showed up to this point because
We
they
have not seen
she's
this yet.
dead. But she obviously survived the attack on Genosha because she was there. And she shows up in the little dungeon with Magneto with the arm sling on, but she's wearing Bastion's little purple and black colors when she starts talking to him.
Okay,
But there are
question.
some theorizing that that
Mystique.
might be Mystique in disguise, though.
So okay.
I have nothing to pull from that. Even.
So question.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is. Are you talking? You're talking about the lady who was standing next to Bastion as he's like revealing his whole plan, or are you talking about the lady who was in Genosha who's supposed to be Emma Frost?
No, not Emma Frost. There's the blonde-haired lady that was kind of like was talking back and forth with the Cyclops before. She's blonde. She's got glasses. She was at when they were having the ball.
Oh,
That would
at his house.
something about that would make sense based on what
she was
happens later in the
upset when they
episode. I can
chose-
see that working, but
She was the one that was upset when they chose Magneto to be the Chancellor and was about to start checking him on that before everything hit the fan.
Okay, gotcha.
And now she's hanging out with Bastion and Magneto.
Gotcha.
And now, yeah. We also get the X-Men following up other leads and finding Bastion's childhood home. And the mother sitting there like, oh, my son told me y'all would come get me. And so it acted at the end of that, she shows him that painting, basically his last painting when he made when he was 16 years old of the Sentinel coming out the ground, the fire and everything happening. And then she activates and turns into another Prime Sentinel. And then we have the scene that you were talking about. We basically get like a big ass Zoom call that we see.
Everybody got pink and purple screens.
Yeah, well, we got Dr. Doom. We got
I was like, Doom. Zemo was there.
Aaron Zemo.
I was like, what?
And Dr. Doom mentions like war crimes. Basically, like I'm not going to be a part. Like, how bad do you have to be for Dr. Doom to tell you?
He was like, hey, y'all commit war crimes. I ain't doing this. Yeah. When Doom's like, my name's Doom, but we don't do war crimes. What you mean? You're a villain. You don't.
You guys are doing too bad.
What?
It's too much.
I don't like it.
And after they're activated, we kind of see like how deep sea this is, like how many like sleeper cells of these Prime Sentinels Bastion had, as they're all kind of awakening, kind of this like zombie Sentinel apocalypse. Everybody's just waking up and starts attacking the mutants, and him in the interim kind of explaining that he chose a bunch of the humans that were disgruntled or mad.
The racist ones. He chose the racist ones.
Yeah, basically against mutants.
He chose all the racist ones that got him.
I guess because they would volunteer and not ask questions. Like, oh, you doing something against some mutants? Yeah,
that was genius. That was genius. I'm like, bro, that you hit your target demographic perfectly. You turned them all into weapons. I was like, this is wild. He turned the whole town. I was like, did he turn the whole world? Like, I wanted to know, like, how far did he get? Because I'm like, he took over the town. You got random people outside of what they were. I was gonna say they were. I guess were they protesting or just being mad outside Yeah, but you got people over there transforming. Everybody confused. I'm like, yo.
I mean, people, but it was not only because I don't think Bastion's home was by Roberto, aka Sunspot's house. You know what I'm saying? There's a long distance between those two locations, and at the same time where Mom's transforms, and then people in that whole like little town transforms. Roberto's mom basically gives him up to these Sentinels. That and wasn't his butler? His butler turned into
the butler. That's what. Yeah, the butler transforms. Like, yo,
he was talking about how he was able to. Like when he was revealing his whole plan, wasn't he talking about how he put his stuff, like he got it into like a water supply or something like that? Like he got it, he was able to spread it.
Yeah.
Like, unknowingly, like without people's full knowledge. And people just, and then he activated the on switch and everybody was just like active, with the objective primed in them to kind of go after the mutants. I think,
Eliminate
right?
mutants, and it all starts going down from that point on. They're all transforming. Everybody's fighting. The X Mansion is burned down as more Sentinels are unleashed. We get the Summers family team up fight in the car. As it, I'm my boy has a Porsche and the Blackbird. They destroyed 3 of them now. They get
They're wrong. Wow.
yeah, like you
Yo.
got a Porsche, and
You
then
can just
Cable
go off.
rips the roof off of it while in mid flight, and they're all fighting.
So crazy.
Dope. It was dope.
It was very dope, and we see that Val Cooper, whoever she is, ends up believing that Magneto was right, so she frees Magneto in the midst of all this going down. Because I don't know how it would have ended had he not been freed. Because they weren't winning all of them battles. I mean, they were destroying them, but it got to a point. There were some dope scenes with Wolverine
Nightcrawler.
and Nightcrawler just slicing and dicing, but they
That
kept like putting them back together. So it was going to be like this never-ending fight. Yeah, Sinister has Val Cooper down on her knees and brings in the Bastion. Like, what happened? How did this happen? How did he go freeze? Like, this one, freedom. And she's like, Magneto was right. And my boy is still in his drawers, flying around. He goes to the North Pole and powers up. I guess he's using the magnetic field of the world to basically power up so he can knock out all the Sentinels around the world. We get a bunch of cameos as this is going. We see the little waves going throughout the planet. We see Spider-Man. We see Samurai. We see Omega Red. And then at the end, as the academy, the school for gifted mutants is burning to the ground, something crashes into it, and there we go. Charles shows up.
The way you do that, you make me want you really. I really want there to be like a version. I really want the version where the X-Men are black. Like I want that in a movie. I just want there to be in a guy be in the background saying Charles.
I mean, every time you say it, I think of that meme where it's Scott just like sitting like this, and the caption just goes, and that's on Charles.
Yeah. But you know where I get the Charles from, right? Y'all see video, the old Juggernaut videos.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Those voiceovers.
Yes, I remember those.
Charles.
And that's on Charles.
I do remember. Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
Juggernaut.
I assume that the memes that's on Charles. I'm assuming that's where they got that Charles from.
Probably.
But I need that in a movie. I need them to say it's on Charles.
Only they did take the Juggernaut bitch from there in one of the movies.
They was it Deadpool?
Yeah,
they represent.
It was Deadpool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charles shows up, and then he has the line "To me, my X-Men," and then we also see that Storm has been alerted by Charles, and everybody knows what's going on now. That's going to be a crazy explanation when she finally gets back together with the group. Like, I was gone for how long? And Gambit's dead. This one's dead. I was like, how long was I gone for?
What is wrong with y'all? I just left for 5 minutes.
That's a good question. And we couldn't figure it out last episode how long she was gone for, because remember we were talking about how she got together with your boy.
Yeah.
That time she was gone. And it's like, well, how long were you there? That y'all have this relationship now? So,
yeah, you weren't here, Jordan. I was trying to remember, like, she has one scene, she was like, "Together, my love," or something like that. And I'm like, how long you been with this dude? The episode before, we just seen you meet up in a bar, and it didn't seem like I had a long history. And he just like, I'm a friend of Charles Xavier's, and so that
I remember that. Yeah.
That was his end. So I'm like, how long did y'all know each other that you know that's all of a sudden your love? I'm like, oh.
Like I get it, right? You know, close proximity. If they're in the same house, healing and self-loathing together for 2 months, maybe you will fall in love. You know, they're not unattractive. They're very attractive.
Exactly. So it's very realistic.
It's
plausible. Yeah, possible and plausible.
But it's like,
You know what would be helpful is a
Find out
time
he-
card.
Yeah,
That's all we need. Title card. It just says 5 months later. I don't know why.
yeah, that would have been helpful.
yeah.
My thing though is I don't see how you fall for somebody who created technology that's being used now. The reason why she lost her powers partially is because it's something he created.
Well,
I mean, she slapped him.
that's not.
And that was,
Yeah,
that was
yeah, she did.
that was enough for her. She slapped him,
That was
and
enough for her.
and she said, "There, you've learned,
There now.
You've learned your lesson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he felt bad about it.
Don't do it again."
Yeah, I guess that's enough. It wouldn't have been enough for me.
Powers back now.
Yeah.
Also, remember, homeboy from the beginning. I mean, we can't blame him for making the weapons. We got to blame the guy who pulled the trigger that shot Aurora. So,
I mean, but if he wasn't making it, it wouldn't be nothing to shoot.
oh, I mean,
That man would not have-
somebody was gonna make it.
I mean, that dude wouldn't have felt emboldened to even make this weird alt-right mutant group, you know.
I
Anti-mutant group.
wouldn't say blame Forge for that thing. That's not Forge's fault.
Yeah.
My man's Forge. He's just out here trying to survive.
So at least now we know we're getting a couple more seasons out of this show.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
gonna be
seems to
wild.
be they're kind of stacking a lot of content in each episode. Like, who knows? I don't even know if Bastion's going to be the real big bad at the end of it. Because remember, we were thinking when the reveal of Sinister that was the main villain, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to be a reoccurring character. I don't know. He didn't give me. I had this feeling when he appeared, he's just going to be around, but he wasn't the big bad. Like, I never felt that about him.
I mean, when it got deep enough where he had cloned Jean Grey and then swapped them, that was kind of a.
So
it was just giving villain. I don't know. It was giving villain of the week type vibe. I really wasn't expecting him to play a pivotal role. So that was kind of a surprise.
Silly.
Silly goose. So silly. Like swapping kids, swapping jeans. What do you?
Yeah, he's swapping jeans.
Like it's very much.
Yeah, Scooby Doo. Like, what is going on, bro?
I mean, but that's a little more deep than just tricking somebody normally. It has somebody in your crew with you living life. Scott had a whole baby with this clone.
That's personal. It was a little wild.
They was living the life.
That was wild.
But the thing is, it's really, but it's we're teasing about it because like it is dramatic and messed up, but mostly interpersonally. Like I don't know how this affects too much on a wider scale for Jean and Scott and Madeline Pryor. What's her name?
Madeline Pryor.
Yeah. It just makes their lives extra messy. And so I think he's just kind of twisting the knife of mess internally in the X-Men just because he's like, y'all suck. I'm gonna clone you guys so you do, who knows what memories are whose. Scott, who'd you have a baby with? Who knows?
This guy.
He just made X-Men like Jerry Springer.
Basically.
And I, you know what? I can appreciate that. He just hates them. He doesn't. He's like, I don't like y'all, and this is how I'm gonna make you guys.
I don't like y'all. I hate y'all. I hate the way you dress.
Yeah.
I hate the way that you talk.
Oh, here you go.
Your shoes, your gear, whack.
I hate the X's on your chest.
His footstands, whack.
Yeah, didn't speaking of the X's, didn't Cyclops try to give Cable a uniform and he just looked at him all crazy?
Oh, I love the callback to no black leather.
He
was
like, what time do you think this was, man?
This ain't X-Men from the 2000s. That movie ain't come out yet, but it's not that. No, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, I'm from the future. I've seen this before. It don't go to you.
That guy named Brian. Was it Brian Singer? Was he the director of those X-Men movies? Yeah, that guy over there. He made him wear leather. That was a guy who was a weirdo.
Yeah, it seems to be like an onion of a show, though. It's got layers to it. They just keep revealing more and more things, and kind of twisting things. Of course, using all the lore kind of at their disposal from both the old X-Men animated show as well as some of the comic runs. So it's been an enjoyable thing. I haven't seen too many people complaining about it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but everybody seems to be happy with that.
I heard I heard one person say they thought it was just okay.
Mm.
But
I can add to that. My dad was like, I feel like I've seen this before. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And like, he's like, because I think it's because he's read some of the storylines. But I'm
Yeah.
like, but why does that deter your excitement? That's what's throwing me off. He's like, but I'm happy y'all, the newer generation, excited about the stories. He's like, but I'm just like, yeah, it's
Well,
good animation. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I think stylistically they kept it close enough to the OG
Mhm.
animated show, but at the same time, they've done a lot of the fight scenes a lot better than obviously what they could have done back in the late '90s. So I think
Mhm.
it's a plus in my opinion.
Oh, that's great. It's amazing.
I agree.
And the music has been dope,
Yep.
even if it's a little bit time capsule for. Have you seen the mashup with the intro to this X-Men show and Whitney Houston's "I'm Your Baby Tonight"?
Yes, I did briefly see that reel. I was like,
Hilarious.
oh wow,
Makes
that's wild.
sense.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Makes sense.
So like I said, I think the fight scenes I like the best were the ones with Wolverine and Nightcrawler just
Okay.
slicing people up and then coming back together. Because that was going to be a never-ending battle. It seemed like had
Oh yeah.
Magneto not did what he did, they were just going to keep them back together. I mean, somebody was going to get tired at some point. It didn't look like it was going to be them
Right.
because Cable and Scott Summers and Jean seemed to be escaping. Basically, it wasn't like because they weren't destroying them like the other crew was, but they were just trying to beat them up and then trying to like moving further down the line. Let me get away from me. Thoughts? Any other favorite fight scenes?
I mean, just everything felt like so anime. I mean, it was just so good. Just the way they landed. I don't know. Just thinking about like them fighting in midair. Gene creating that force field as they landed. They got the explosion behind them. Um, I like that kind of joke. I'm trying to remember the specific joke that Wolverine wakes with the six. They say 6 reasons where he pulls out 6 claws, and then Nightcrawler is like the ninth. He adds another 3, so it's 9 because they both
Yeah,
got blades. I was like, hey, I mean, those fight scenes are awesome. But like this, overall, this show has just been great because like it continues to raise the stakes and it's very emotional. It's impactful and it creates just a very like this enjoyable ride. So it's been awesome.
yeah. That initial fight with Trask kind of gave me. Y'all probably might be a little young. Voltron and Godzilla
How you going?
toy. Remember the fist used to pop off of the toys?
Yeah, and in Power Rangers. That's cool.
Jocelyn?
I can't say I remember. I can't. But I'm glad you can, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just you take me back to just overall just giant mecha.
Yeah, basically we had these toys back in the day where it had a little button. You had a little bigger action figure, and you pop the button on it, and the fist would actually fly off and hit.
Oh yeah.
That projectile
So,
function.
because you see, I think when Trask first punches Rogue, after he comes up after being tossed off the building, his fist fly off and like knock her out like midair when they all start squabbling. So I haven't, but I didn't see any of the other Prime Sentinels doing that later. But I
They
know
was
he was
just
like,
flying and shooting laser beams.
yeah, he was the prototype for all the other. Like,
Yeah. I mean, as far as like fight scenes go, I really liked the the fights sequences with the Summers family.
mhm.
Um, like all of their combos. I just that was
Come on,
really
combo breaker.
yes, that was very cool to watch. Mirroring what you guys were talking about with Wolverine and Nightcrawler's fight scene, that was awesome and epic. Because like I said before, I didn't watch like the X-Men show in the 90s and I haven't read like the comics. And I've seen some of the movies, in X-Men, these characters are just kind of in the zeitgeist of nerddom. So I know who they are,
Yeah,
but I don't know that much about them really. And so I'm learning kind of in real time more and more about these characters with this show. And so to see like that Nightcrawler Wolverine like fight team up. I was like, this is really cool. Like, I didn't know anything about Nightcrawler. I didn't know until I saw on social media recently that like he's Mystique's son and she gave him away.
And I like that they referenced that in the TV show. They kind of
Yeah, that showed their connection to him and Rogue. That's why Rogue refers to him as like she's his sister.
Also, didn't know they were related.
That's wild.
Didn't know that was a new fact that I learned today. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I knew that Mystique was always his mom because of the blue skin. That kind of gave it away for me when I was a kid. But I did not know Rogue was related.
Yeah,
I think basically because she kind of like a foster mom too.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but that also supports the theory that that lady is like secretly Mystique. You know?
Yeah, because she
gave away Nightcrawler because he was blue, or just a mutant, I guess. She, I don't know. I literally don't know. But the video I saw was making fun of Mystique because she gave away Nightcrawler just because, like, saying he was blue when she's literally blue. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, she gave him away. Either she doesn't like mutants or she's ashamed to be a mutant. And so she's a self-hating mutant. So that
layers. That's layers.
We didn't discuss too. Jean feels another empath. That's a surviving engineer, and she thought it was Madeline Pryor at first, but it turned out to be Emma Frost.
That's what Jocelyn was referring.
Yeah.
That was a cool surprise. I was like, oh, her.
She survived because she was able to turn her skin to diamond.
That was dope.
Yeah. So yeah, they're giving us a lot in this show. They got a lot more coming.
I'm excited. Lord.
You think they're gonna bring Gambit back?
No.
No.
It's
a permadeath for at least a couple seasons. At least.
At least, really?
You don't think they might revise him as like a Sentinel Prime because that's part of Bastion's power sets to bring people back from death?
I mean, maybe, and I'll be so sad.
That'd be a good weapon. I mean, that'd be a good foil to throw Rogue off.
I'll cry.
Yes, but
we
don't need to do all that. We don't need to do all that.
But I will. So.
Oh no, cry! I'm just saying they don't need to bring Gambit back. I just don't want that. Okay. I genuinely don't want that. Like, keep the character dead. That was already emotional as it was.
It was, but if he comes back, I mean, and you know what? He should say that just because I feel like when shows do this, like when they kill off a character and then bring that character back in some kind of strange zombified form, like even though it's still sad because you're meant to kill this character again, it doesn't hit the same. Like, it's still sad, but it's just like, like it's just not like the emotional impact is not as heightened as if you would have just let it be. Like,
it kind of cheapens it because the emotionality of losing that character is like, oh, we did this for nothing because he just brought him right back. I think Jordan and I discussed this when he finished my first book when I killed off the character. I think you asked me, like, are you going to bring him back? And I was like,
and I respected you for the permadeath. I'm a big fan of kill your characters and let them be dead. It was something that I was like thinking about with my story, and I was like, all right, Jordan, you're gonna kill this character. And it's funny, Jocelyn, what you brought up was something I thought about, and I was like, nah, we're not gonna do the zombify thing. We're gonna keep characters dead. They gotta stay dead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've been doing a really good job so far with the like landing all of the emotional kind of beats, and making sure all the emotional beats have the proper weight to them. And so I don't really if they do, I hope they don't bring him back, because I feel like if they bring him back, it will be a shock, but that'll be it. Like, it won't have that lasting weight, because it's
it'll be a spectacle at that point.
Yeah, it'll just be It'll
be. They have to kill him twice. That's almost mean. Like, you bring him back just to kill you again.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
There is I don't know if you guys played Final Fantasy VII or not.
I didn't finish it.
You didn't finish it.
I played it. I played the original.
Okay.
I have the new one, but I have not played it yet.
Okay. Um, dang. The thing.
You're like, I want to tell y'all about this thing, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah, because now the thing I want to bring it has to do with Barrett and Barrett's storyline. If you played the original, right, you know his story.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what happens to Barrett. Can y'all?
I won't spoil anything.
Okay, thank
I won't.
you. Thank you.
Anyway, I'll say this: what they did with Barrett's storyline in the original and in this newest game, Rebirth,
Mhm.
is where I feel like this is a situation where they've handled someone. They've handled what we're talking about well. I'll say that.
Mm.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. Only 2 more episodes left. 9 is already out, and I think on the 15th they released the 10th one. So by the
So that's a
time,
wrap.
for the
Oh,
season, and
so
then
quick.
there's 2 more
This week's
seasons.
gonna be very intense. It's the last episode of X-Men. Bridgerton's coming out in a couple days.
Oh,
Lord have mercy.
I don't care about Bridgerton, but okay.
That's fine. I do.
I know you do. I can tell. I was like, oh, we got a Bridgerton fan over here. Alrighty.
Bridgerton.
Mhm.
Well, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to chop it up about these things. X-Men 97, we got 2 more episodes to go. Well, 1 more episode to go. We'll be discussing 9 and 10 next week. The 5 of y'all that caught us on live, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to us. When I upload the audio to Spotify for podcasters, the Askari cast, there will be links in the description of each episode for all of our websites. So if you were curious about our creative endeavors outside of us having discussions, you're more than welcome to check us out. We appreciate it. And we will talk to you all next time.
Peace.
See ya.